Okay, hey guys, Ryan here with Annalisa. Hello, Annalisa.
Hello.
All right,
Hello, hello.
Annalisa's going to drive today. I'm going to talk mostly. You're going to chime in for me, right? Help me out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so welcome to this weekly webinar from Inside Real Estate. Today, what we're going to be talking about is follow-up best practices for the core property boost and the Facebook, Google pay-per-click leads, and for just leads in general. We have a lot of people using core property boost and our internal products, and we like to do a session like this every now and then. It just really digs deep on some best practices for follow-up. Little housekeeping stuff. These Wednesday webinars, the way that we're proceeding with these is I like to say that these are going to be a little more advanced. So if you just got your hands on KV Core or Conversion Plus, and you haven't yet gone through the Learning Portal stuff, you don't have to worry about being here for these yet. I would definitely say go where Annalisa is going right now. Check out the Learning Portal, go through the basics, and generally what we'll be doing on these Wednesdays is a little bit next level. But you're totally welcome to stay. We just don't want you to be overwhelmed and feel like you need to be on par with some of the stuff that happens here, because I tend to get a little advanced and fast, right, Annalisa? You have to slow me down.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, I'm like, well, partner.
Yeah, so these are recorded. There's a link there in the doc. I'm sure Annalisa will share the doc when she has a second.
Yep, it's in there. I got it sent to everybody.
Great. And then at 3 p.m., what we're doing for the next few weeks is we're going to be doing some team-specific stuff. So if you're a team leader or you're thinking about having a team, we'll be doing a demo today at 3 p.m. of our team add-on, which is available through the marketplace. There's a link in the doc. If you want to hang out at 3 p.m. East, 12 p.m. Pacific, and join us for that, you're welcome to.
And I did drop the link to that into the chat for everyone here, too, if they want to pop in and register. So it's good to go. And there's other dates they can choose. So, yeah, there you go.
Okay. And that's about it. So let's dive into the content. Basically, let's start off by talking about what the PPC leads are that we're talking about. That term PPC stands for pay per click, and a lot of the products you have your hands on, KV Core and Conversion Plus, are built to convert pay per click traffic very efficiently. Across the board to a Google ad, for example, we're looking at about a 10% conversion across North America. That's going to vary. Now, the three main products we're talking about is our core property boost. Annalisa, if you want to click just a really quick into that example ad and overview, that's our system where you can kind of push a button on the marketplace page and start running ads for your listings, starting at $60 a listing. If you scroll down, what I wanted to show everybody was an example of one of those ads. And this will set us up for some context on the follow-up. I have a GIF there that shows a single property ad, and what's going on now is that it's being clicked, and the info that Facebook has on file is being pre-filled into a form and submitted. So both our Facebook property boost and our Facebook buyer leads products use this objective and this methodology. And it's really cool because it gets you 95 or more % of the time a real cell number. Very few people take the time to delete that pre-filled cell number right there. And you're going to get an accurate email. Now, a caveat with this is that there isn't always a lot of intent with this type of Facebook ad where the person wasn't anxious and really thinking about moving. They just kind of saw an ad for a listing or a batch of listings and thought it was interesting. So you're going to need to kind of proceed with your follow-up accordingly. We'll be talking more about that in a second. The Facebook PPC I have there, it's similar to Property Boost, except it's just niche searches like a weekly list of, a free weekly list of just listed, price reduced. Sometimes we get into fixer-uppers, foreclosures, different niche searches depending on what your type of business you're trying to run. And we have a big page here for both the Facebook and Google ads, a bunch of videos that just kind of run through it all, which we're not going to spend a lot of time here, but it's there for reference. And I do have a note on the doc that if you do order the Facebook buyer ads and decide you want to try those out, we've started a trial. We've started adding in retargeting. So if you go back to the doc, Annalise, I have a note there. And moving forward, the Facebook PPC ads will include not only the initial click and the lead generation, but a certain percentage of the budget that's being spent is going to retargeting, and it is working really well. We have a beta test group in, and anybody who orders from this webinar on, you'll be put into that test pilot group for now until further notice. So if you want to get some retargeting going, now's your chance to kind of get in that group. We're seeing excellent cost per lead on that product right now. And then
That's
Google,
super exciting.
yeah, you didn't know that.
No, but I do now, and it's amazing. I thought it was underway, but the new beta is awesome.
Yeah, we're seeing excellent numbers on that. So these two, the Facebook side of things, to me, are the most efficient way to kind of go push a button, get your system getting filled up with fresh leads, know that you're going to have a good name, email, phone number to work with, and then at a cost per lead that is very attractive. Property Boost, you should end up in the $3 to $6 range, and then the Facebook niche searches would probably be about $1 or $2 higher. But we're actually seeing it act on par with Property Boost in this beta. I just don't want to overpromise. So, those are really good numbers. Again, name, email, phone accurate, not a ton of intent. Now, Google PPC is sort of the bread and butter that is probably going to get you the highest intent with somebody who's closer to actually searching for a house and wanting to work with you. Those leads tend to be a little more expensive. We have the link that gives you the tour. And a lot of times those are going to come in without a phone number because we recommend you leave the phone number optional on those. I don't want to get too far into that, but you're just going to want to have a good mindset about what those leads are all about. They are searching for something, but if we start requiring phone numbers, a lot of times we're not going to get a number. We're gonna up our cost per lead, and people are going to bounce if you require the number, so we recommend them to be optional. I'm rambling on a little bit, Annalisa. I'm going to sneak on that, Doc. I did a whole video about the whole phone number thing with Google, which is kind of why I'm rambling on about it. It's a big thing I've been thinking about a lot lately based on feedback we're getting from users.
Sure, and just as a reminder, to access information on Google Buyer Advertising and Facebook Buyer Advertising on kvCORE, just click into your marketplace, that little building down this left-hand side, and you will see the Google Buyer Advertising and Get This and the Facebook Buyer Advertising. And when you click Get This, it's basically saying, hey, open this so I can learn more about it. So that's where you can learn more details as well.
Yeah, Brandon's going to answer his question. That's where you get it. And yeah, that's that. Show me that, Doc, again. Okay. So those are the sort of things that we're talking about specifically. Now, you are free to do, I have a note there, you're free to do all of these things yourself. And we do our best in the learning portal to kind of show you how. So there's a Facebook advertising course. It's got a ton of content in it, maybe too much in there. And if you want to learn how to kind of execute these processes totally on your own, you do have free how-tos in there. The one thing I would say is that a lot of us probably make, if we look at our hourly, as brokers and agents, we look at our hourly, it might not be your best use of time to try to figure out how to run these Facebook ads. This new beta program, for example, is all done via API. And I'm a human with almost 8 years of experience in the Facebook ads platform, and I can't beat what the computer can do. So the push button is what I'd recommend, but if you want to know how to do it, we've got a ton of content there for you. And then everything that I've just said, those three done for you products and any other methods you're using to generate leads on your own, all of the stuff we're about to dive into on the follow-up side of things will be relevant. Okay, so let's jump into the follow-up theory. We're gonna get a little geeky here. And at least if you could, I got some slides going. You guys all have access to these slides as well. And I had started making a course called How to Get More of Your Leads to Talk Faster. We got extremely busy on a number of fronts, so that course is still in progress. But this is sort of the beginning. And what we do in the beginning, what I like to talk about is this FOG behavior model. It was something I had never heard of. Apparently, it's relatively recent, probably about 10 years old. Professor at Stanford, BJ Fogg is his name. And what the model says is that there are 3 elements that must converge at the same moment for a behavior to occur. So his formula is behavior equals motivation, ability, and a prompt. And when a behavior does not occur, at least one of those elements is missing. And when I saw this, my head kind of, I said, whoa, this is cool, because this really helps us understand some of the human nature and some of the reasons why when we generate an internet lead for real estate, for example, that person isn't really looking to talk to us right away in a And most of the time, they want nothing to do with us, right? And it also explains why suddenly you might have somebody in your database for 2 years, which is often the case. Suddenly they just need to get a hold of you right away, and they're emailing and texting, and they got to see houses this weekend. And I think this behavior model kind of explains it. So on the next slide, Annalisa, I kind of have some bullet points about each facet of the formula here. So let's look at the motivation and let's apply this formula to what usually happens in real estate. And then from going through these slides, we'll be able to come up with some actionable stuff we can do to flow with this. All right, so motivation, lots of real estate leads simply aren't motivated yet, right? We know this, I know this is obvious, but people are waiting to get married, they're too young, they're waiting for a baby to be born, they have all kinds of reasons. I'm gonna retire in 5 years and then I'll make a move, but I'm on your site searching today because I think Myrtle Beach might be fun, I think Florida might be fun, those kinds of things. Or if you're doing investor stuff, they don't care about investing in a property yet, right? So you have to wait, but the good news is you can start to motivate people with prompts by sending properties and educational content. We'll get more into the prompts in a second. So when we look at the action, the A part of the formula here, that's the ability. So we actually have ready, willing, and able, right, from real estate school. So we have that ability showing up here again. And ability will be, don't have the money, don't have the credit, locked into a lease, don't understand the process, they're scared, and they just don't feel like talking about it today, right? They got other things going on. Today is not the time they want to talk to you. So when you're calling, they don't have the ability to even deal with you right now. So when you look at these two things, the motivation and the ability, it starts to, I start to understand why, personally, why realtors are paid so much, right? We have everything stacked against us. It's very hard to have somebody who's just ready, willing, and able right now. It's even gotten harder and harder since the financial meltdown with credit restrictions and things like that. So we've got motivation and ability factors, and then now let's look at what we can do. We can't control the M and A, in my opinion, right? We shouldn't get frustrated about it. It does us no good to get frustrated if somebody doesn't have the money. We can give them some advice, maybe, things like that. We can start to prompt them, which is where the P comes in. So actionable items, what can we do to prompt people? Well, we can directly ask them to contact us, right? It doesn't always work, but we can make sure we're doing that as often as possible. That's where something like drip campaigns and smart campaigns with KV Core Version Plus will come in. We can send automated property alerts. Our systems do that for us. It just reminds people, that puts real estate back on their mind. Here's the properties that got listed in the last few days, makes them think about it again. The property or the property search of a day. We have a whole course in the learning portal about posting to social media, a property or property search of the day. Those kinds of things can prompt people to start thinking about real estate. And then we have info about homes rising, financing offers, any webinars you want to do, first time home buyer webinar, first time investor webinars, open house announcements, basically any content you can create related to real estate is going to be a prompt. So the last line I have there, Annalisa, I don't know if this is science or not. I kind of added that, but I don't know if Fog would agree, but just keep prompting. Eventually motivation and ability will be there. And when the formula is in place, you'll get the B, you'll get the behavior. So I'm gonna take a breath. What's everybody think of this? If anybody wants to comment, have you heard of this model before? Have you heard it applied to real estate before? Any feedback you want to give would be great.
I do have a couple of questions that are not related to the Fog behavior. So the first is Tom's asking, hey, does Core Property Boost work with LinkedIn for ads?
Great question. It doesn't, but one of the reasons is we just haven't gotten around to looking at the API for that. I assume it's going to be more expensive, but I think the first step there, Tom, I'll make a little note, is to do a training about how to use the lead forms in LinkedIn, because they do have them. I will say, anytime I've used those lead forms for internal demand gen here at Inside Real Estate, the cost per lead there versus Facebook tends to be higher. But again, it's LinkedIn, so you might be getting a better quality lead. So definitely something we got to look into.
Awesome. And Alicia's wondering, hey, in regards to Facebook, will statistics be delivered if we choose the done for it advertising via Inside Real Estate for KV Core?
Great question. Right now, you're going to see the source and the hashtags inside of your dashboard. But with this new beta program, I think it's already in development. I've seen the plans for it. There is going to be kind of a reporting dashboard like you have with Property Boost. So the answer is yes, but not yet. Pretty soon, I'd say in the next month or two. Yep.
And then lastly, John was saying, I've heard about it, and I think he's talking about the fog behavior, but not sure how it applied to real estate. So to me, it's very similar to some training I've received in the past called Probe, Align, and Raise, basically bringing people up that ladder of decision making and providing content so they can be educated.
Yep. So Kenneth's asking to see the first slide we showed in the timeline. That was probably the that. It is in the doc that Annalisa shared, so you guys can look at this in your own time. I simply Googled it, popped right up in Google, you know, the graphic. But yeah, I think so. The big takeaway is having sort of a model in mind before we start to follow up with people can help, because you know, I think a lot of people get frustrated. You get a system like KV Core, Conversion Plus, or any CRM, and you're like, okay, well, I'm getting leads in, it should just turn it into commission checks, right? And I think that the right mindset to have is, hey, we're up against this model, the way that, you know, human behavior, and the tools that we have our hands on will help us systematically do the prompts and stay in front of people until motivation and ability are there. So for the next part of the webinar, let's dig in a little more about the actual tactical things we can do within the systems. Now, if we tried to, Annalisa, if we tried to show all of these examples right now in this webinar, we'd be here a long time.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So I just want to keep this webinar a little high level, theoretical, right? And then we have links you guys can go to the specific how-tos in our help docs and in the learning portal and things like that. So the first off, some specific scripts. You guys, most of us are pretty good at this part. I just fired this off really quick, and it's what I do. It's just the general, but your initial phone and text to follow up on a Property Boost lead or a list should be, hi, I saw you're on my site, and I'm doing a follow-up call. That's my opinion. I know that some other people are going to have different opinions. It's just, you know, follow whatever coach you want. But the initial call shouldn't be very aggressive, I think is my point, because we don't want to blow, man, I want to say, I don't know if I should use that term.
Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it, but I don't want,
I know what you're saying. I know what you're trying to go for there.
All right, my brain's well, we don't want to kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. That's a better way to say it, and make the person not like us at all before motivation and ability are there. So that first touch should be very cool. All right, and this probably goes without saying, but I know a lot of people have a very kind of hard-nosed sales approach, like gotta work the phones, crank through people, and it's just, you know, if they're not ready to buy right now, forget it. And for some people that works. I just think within the context of this model, I'm going to recommend a softer pitch. The next link we have there, Annalise, if you want to click it, is some emails you can use for campaigns.
Yes,
we have
cool. This is the 21 templates.
Yeah,
like
I wrote a lot of this a while ago, but I think a lot of people are using this successfully. And basically what these are 4 different types of emails: conversation starters, niche property searches, I think single property, and basically
dangle emails.
Property dangle, right? The most expensive house in Springfield, sellers are very motivated, open house, and so on. So these emails you might want to take, we have some of them inside of the campaigns and conversion and KV Core, I think some of these ideas, but you'll notice that in this link, that a lot of this is specific to your market. So what you're going to want to do is maybe take some time and pepper these into your drip campaign so that people are prompted. You know, you're sending them interesting stuff that isn't canned. It feels like you curated it, I think is the way to say that.
And Jeffrey's saying, hey, how do we get to these templates? So they're in the doc, and I will also drop the direct link right now into chat for you all. And I think Tom had a question. Is there a behavioral analytic information we can get to understand where a potential client is in the process of motivation level?
Yeah, that's a really good question. In KV Core, you have your business analytics, and you can see kind of what percentage of clients, but on a specific client level, there are some things, Alex, maybe you know better, like the star ratings. Does some of that stuff automatically adjust?
It does. So when a contact registers online and you're looking at like at your smart CRM, the system, of course, does the data validation when they land on the dashboard. You can also trigger those to update them anytime. But what will happen is the star ratings will fill up depending on the type of information that lands with that person when they register. So the more information we're able to pull, like their Facebook information, verify their name, email, address, all that good stuff, the higher that star level can be. Also, agents can use that star level on their own and fill the stars up where they believe those people are at in the process too. So this is where it comes in handy, where you are making those out calls and sending in that additional information to get conversations rolling, so you can lead them up that pathway from the P to the A to the M, right?
Yeah. And then Tom's question actually brought up another thought. You know, if you want to know where they are in the process, one thing you could do is ask them. And I don't think I have any templates in that article, but it might be a good idea to say, hey, you know, a couple of days in, just curious, yeah, how soon do you think you might make a move? And then just say reply and then give them 3 options, you know,
Yeah.
in the email.
Or multiple choice works a lot.
Yeah, multiple choice. Or you can also link out to a form if you want in one of your early emails or text messages. Just say, hey, I don't want to pester you too much, you know, so that I can serve you right and send you the right info. Would you mind just answering a few quick questions and letting me know let me know where you're at in the process? And I think, and Alexa, remind me to do this, but you know, you can merge in fields inside of emails, like email name and stuff. And when they click out, you can actually
Yes.
take people to forms and have the info pre-filled. So I'm getting a little geeky, but I'd love to do a training on that approach, and we'll try to do so in the next week.
Awesome.
But great thought, Tom. Let's just ask them how motivated they are. That would be a good thing to do, and that also would function as a prompt, right? You know,
Yes.
because you're getting them to
and
think
it can help lead into motivation.
Yeah. You know, and that's an interesting thing. You know, somebody might think they're not motivated, but the way that you interact could make them realize they have ability or motivation when they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Tom says you got that answered, so great. Okay, so that's our email templates. What you're going to want to do is add those to either the drip campaigns or the smart campaigns in KV Core. We have tons of documentation about how to do that. The next big thing you can do with these pay-per-click leads as they're coming in is you can automatically set up specific property alerts based on how they came in. So if you know you're running a property boost for a luxury home in a specific town, you could say anytime a hashtag comes in with PB, that address, you'll see the hashtags come in on property boost. It always starts with PB. You can set it up so that they start to get all similar properties when that hashtag comes in. And this is sort of a, you know, you spend your money on the property boost or the Facebook ad, and then you spend 5 minutes doing what Annalise is doing on the screen here, and you've automatically set up your prompting system. Even if you never, you know, pepper in other emails or other content, you've got sort of a bare minimum follow-up going in a cool way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm bringing up the conversion dashboard too, just as an example. So I paused my screen momentarily there.
Mm-hmm.
So within KV Core, if you want to set up these auto-assigned search alerts, you're going to click on your marketing autopilot, that little paper airplane down the left side, the 4th option down. And then you will click into search alerts, learn more. And right below, like the how-to, description, why, and so forth, you'll see the auto-assign search alerts and how to create the alert and search for anything you may have set up. And the links on this will actually lead you to those little short and sweet tutorials. On K+, you will actually click on your email, or not your email, but your name top right, and then My Settings. And about 2/3 down this page, so you're going to scroll it on down, you'll see the auto assign listing alerts for leads, and it's right above where your drip campaigns live. So this is where both of you who use the platforms can go in and set these up to automatically trigger. So this can go hand in hand with your landing pages, squeeze pages, what have you, with a smart campaign triggering, a drip, drip campaign triggering, or a listing alert, which is pretty cool.
And okay, so that's automatic hashtag-based property alerts. And then the final two things I have on the screen here are related to retargeting. And in case you don't know what that is, retargeting is where somebody visits your website and then they start to see ads on other channels for what you were offering. So you see Amazon and Walmart do this. We're adding in retargeting, as I mentioned earlier, into our Facebook ads product, where somebody becomes a lead or they click on your ad, they're going to start to see the ad again. That's also going to actually cover your entire website, by the way. So anybody who's on your website is going to start to see those same Facebook ads there. So we have a basic real estate retargeting 101 course inside of the learning portal. It just shows you the bare bones of how to get a retargeting ad live on Facebook and Google, which should get you, 95% of the way there. And if you're not already doing retargeting and you want a way to convert more of your leads into conversations and closings, definitely get on this. It's powerful.
Well, and it's especially relevant due to all the changes that Facebook has been through in the last year. This is a new way of going after those eyeballs on social media and gaining that traction back.
And it's a great way to prompt, and remember, you're up against the motivation and the ability factor. So as long as you keep showing those ads on as many channels as possible, you got your email drips, you got your automatic alerts going out, and you're just trying to cover as many bases as possible. The good news is with all this stuff, it's automated once you set it up for the most part. And then the last note I had there was Thanks.io, which is in the marketplace. I know a lot of that. I'm a co-founder of that one, but that's basically handwritten postcards in the mail, and there's actually a way to automatically trigger postcards to your website visitors if they allow their address. So there's a whole course about how that works there too, if you want to cross over from the digital world and put something in the physical mailbox. Thanks is there as well.
Well, and didn't you get a postcard recently by somebody who said, like, I know you're busy right now, or you missed my calls or something?
Yeah, I got it. It wasn't a postcard, it was a letter.
Oh, letter, that's right.
I had signed up for a training and somebody sent me a letter. It was really, really powerful. And in that case, it's not real estate relevant, but that in case, I would feel weird canceling the guy's membership because it just felt really personal, like there's an element of reciprocation. So it is powerful to put something physical in somebody's hand if you can. So, and you can trigger, on the postcards, you can trigger them automatically from Conversion Plus KV Core. One of the big value props here, of course, with a KV Core Conversion Plus is that you have Zapier, you have APIs, you have ways to tie everything together so that you have this big throbbing behavioral behavior inducing system that works with the model we talked about there with Fog. And Lisa, can you
I'll drop the webhook information in on this doc as well. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, the one thing I left off here, there's that calculator. It's It's conversion.info/calculator. And that might be a good place for us to leave off.
Conversion, say it again, please.
.info/K, and then spell calculator correctly for the rest of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that's a little kind of tool that I put together a few years back. And
it's pretty neat.
It's not, I don't know how exact the numbers are. They were guesstimates, but I haven't gotten a lot of pushbacks. People seem to go along with it. But if you start to kind of fill this out and look at different scenarios of where your ROI goes over time with different levels of follow-up, it starts to make sense. Real estate is just, again, we're up against motivation and ability. It takes a long time for something to convert. Good news is commission sides are generally pretty good, right? We're making thousands of dollars at a time. So if you plug your average commission side in there, your average net commission, your value per lead, and so on, it'll kind of show you what kind of ROI you're looking at based on how long you follow up. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is that we don't want people to be disappointed when they click and order a property boost, they order a Facebook ad, and they spend $60 and somebody isn't ready. Out of all those, you're probably gonna get 20 leads or so, and somebody isn't ready to buy this month. It does happen. It happens all the time. But looking at the real numbers, keeping the Fog behavior model in the back of your head will kind of help you stay motivated, I think, and have the right mindset about all this stuff where, you need to keep filling the pipeline and doing the right things on follow-up, and good things will start to happen. So,
and I just dropped the link for the calculator into everyone, and it's on the sheet now too.
Cool. So did we miss, and Lisa went pretty quick, did we miss anything else that anybody else here is doing? If anybody has any questions or thoughts about other ways to prompt motivation or help people become more able, I would love to hear it. Any other feedback? Go ahead.
When I worked for a broker here locally, she would actually go hand deliver just like a mug full of Seattle's Best chocolates and a note. And she would do that like once or twice a month, or she'd send me to do it. But the idea was, you know, that's how she kept in touch with these people who might be a long-term buyer situation. And she did something different for more luxury estates, but she always maintained a consistent theme with her marketing with the Seattle's Best chocolates, the mug, or like hot cocoa or something like that, depending on the season. Because here in Washington State, things don't melt too easily usually, so chocolates are a safe bet. But you know, you might want to think about what you could associate with to get people to remember you and think, oh, that's right, she's left those chocolates, they were awesome, you know, something like that. And she also continued to blog twice a week herself to help her through the lean times, and that's what helped carry her brand and marketing forward to her successful rebuilding. So after the property crash. So, you know, there's been a lot of, it was very interesting to see her work and recover all of that.
Yeah, you know, we didn't mention blogging there as a follow-up tool. Definitely is blogging and social posting, which you have access to. You know, you can quickly post listings to social media from your dashboards, and we have the blogging as well. Brandon says, Jim's asking, is this for KV Core an upgraded version of Conversion? Well, Conversion Plus and KV Core are covered. You know, this is relevant to both of those. So, and then Brandon says, pretty overwhelmed, where to start? Google PPC, Facebook PPC, making it ring, where do I start? So I would do it based on budget. I'm a little biased, but I'm biased for a good reason toward Property Boost. And that's because I see the numbers every day. And Property Boost, the cost per lead there is so low, and there's just so much leverage. If you have a listing or you can get permission from somebody else at your company to advertise one of their listings, not only are you generating leads around specific properties, your sellers are going to love it because they get a report every day on the activity. It'll help you justify price reductions. You can say you're getting a lot of clicks and so on. So I would start, for anybody wondering, start with a $60 Property Boost. That's, you know, there's no recurring commitment or anything like that. Try one of those out, and then if you have the budget, then move on to Facebook PPC and Google.
Well, and at that point, if you do get that listing sold, then you could be able to look at the e-commission advance on commission too to help build things out, I would think.
Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah, so you're referencing the webinar last week. Yeah, we did with e-commission, where if you're a little strapped and you bring up a good point, Annalisa, because all of this goes with the assumption that you're going to be feeding the system with leads who are going to become able and motivated through the Fogg behavior model. So if you don't have a lot of budget for this, it's probably a good idea to find it. And one way to find it would be through e-commission, which we promoted last week.
Yeah, I'll get it linked in there.
Yeah. Cool. So that was a tidy half hour or so. I appreciate the questions. Right, at least we had a good bunch here.
Yeah, it was a good time. I did add in the different information if you want to access all of the scripts that we have online for K Plus or KV Core. Same with how to access the drip campaign, smart campaign information. And we also went over a really nifty printable daily checklist. Was it a couple of weeks ago or a week ago or so? These are super handy as well. So if I open up these are the videos on YouTube. However, you'll also find these on the support portal, but then the doc links are right inside this section. So if you click into the doc, then you'll be able to see all of the information that we shared within, and how you can go to this printable link if you want to print out your own list instead of using this one. So this is a clean one right here. Yep.
So yeah, guys, we're here every Wednesday. Generally, like I said, these will be a little more advanced, a little more theory. The learning portal is the place to go if you're totally new and you want basics, step-by-steps, and then kind of pepper these sessions into your knowledge bank as needed. But definitely, you know, following up on PPC can be done. It happens every day. People close leads from Facebook and Google ads. So the steps are just make sure you get some of those leads coming in through Property Boost or one of our other products or other methods that you choose on your own. and then follow up with the right mindset and model in mind. Thanks,
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
and I guess you can think of yourself as well as like doing the old fog model on yourself, right? Is that the old Jedi mind trick on yourself, maybe? The fog model? But, you know, it's a good rule of thumb.
So guys, thank you, Amrana. Yeah. So if you would, you know, if any of you guys have a team and you're thinking about scaling out a team, we'll be on in about 25 minutes. I'll be on with Roberto, and we're just going to do a demo of what you get with the team add-on here at the KV Core team add-on. There's a lot of value in that, especially if you or somebody you know is paying for like a Boomtown or one of our competitors, because there's opportunity to get your hands on a KV Core. Kind of like at broker level KV Core at a very affordable price. So if you want to check that out, 3 o'clock, the link is in that doc. And thank you for the positive feedback. That's really nice to see. Thank you, everybody.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. And we hope you have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.
See you.